TikTok challenge. So if you're a part of the older demographic, this part might not really apply to you. But put a finger down if you're basically happy with your car and you've done everything that you wanted to do in terms of power and performance, but you were just kind of bored over quarantine and you wanted something, just anything to do. So you start looking up random ass parts that may not necessarily help the performance of the car. In fact, they might decrease performance, but you were just so bored during quarantine that you bought it anyways, and you installed it and you don't like it, and now you can't return it because after you install it, it's considered used. So you were just like, you might as well make a video out of it, and now we're here. So what I have here is a Turbosmart plug-and-play, electronically controlled, patent-pending, award-winning blow-off valve, diverter valve. I have the 50/50 version, so I think that is the blow-off valve version, whereas the other one is the plump back where it recirculates, and that is their diverter valve version. And did I need it with my Stage 2 tune? No. In fact, I'm gonna actually decrease performance because there's like a general consensus or like a myth going around as like, for our turbos, our cars, the Mark 7s, you don't want anything to blow off because they need the air to recirculate for the performance, but when you blow it off, it actually decreases performance. But I got it purely for sound anyway, so I don't really care about the performance aspect of it. So if you're thinking about getting a blow-off valve, just keep in mind that it may decrease performance, or at least that's the general consensus or idea behind it. And I got this one specifically because they had me at plug and play, and of course I'm a lazy piece of shit, so if anything that's plug and play, I'm all for it. And this isn't sponsored by them in any way. I paid full price for this, $260 after tax from FCP Euro. Here are some other claims that they make on their website and in the description about how great it is. I don't know how true these are, so take it with a grain of salt, but I'm just reading off what they say. It's electronically controlled, so it's way faster than a traditional one. It's milliseconds fast, blowing off or reacting or whatever blow-off valves do. This is the dual port one, so when it deems it necessary, it'll blow off the extra air, and that's when you get the whoosh and the blow-off valve sound. The plump back one just plumps it back and recirculates, and this is one of its kind. It won awards at SEMA. So like I said, I don't know how true these claims are. It's just what it says on their website, but they just had me at plug and play, and here we are. But here's some sound clips of it first to get that over with. Some things to note is that the in-cabin one, it's pretty quiet. I did my best to record the audio, but I think it was just the way that the mic was set up, it didn't record it clearly. For the other setup, I had my mic actually in the engine bay right next to the blow-off valve, so that one gets pretty violent because you do hear everything else that's going on with the engine. So when I got my first copy for this blow-off valve, I think it was defective because it wasn't blowing off, and I contacted Turbosmart about this, and they said it seemed like the solenoid thing wasn't working properly. So I contacted FCP Euro, which I bought it from, and I was like, can I return this? Because it's defective. Even Turbosmart said so, but your FCP Euro was like, nah, we'll just send you a replacement, which I guess I'm glad, you know, the customer service is great that they'll have the lifetime warranty and they'll send you a replacement. But I was like, I kind of just want my money back at this point so that I can go buy a forged one, because I had a friend that have the forged one and his is more annoying during daily driving. But anyways, here's the install of it for those that are curious or want to see how it's done. It really is plug and play. You take out your old one, your original, or whatever valve you have there, install this one, put the 3 screws back in, make the connection with the engine, the whatever it's called. There's no routing hoses or having to install additional hardware to hold the hose to go through this and that. That's, at least that's what it seems like for the forged one. I was like, I didn't want to go through all that, which is why I didn't initially get it. So this really is plug and play, and that's a big reason why I got it, mainly because I'm lazy. So these screws that they gave, they're not magnetic. Like the magnetization on these are fucking trash. I don't get why. So like all these magnetic screwdrivers that I have are useless and they're still prone to dropping. I swear to God, this better work, because I'm gonna be so annoyed if I install this and it doesn't work again. Oh my God, already. This, I already feel like, what the hell is this? This is glue, this is sticky. What the hell is this? Ugh, or whatever, just put enough dirt on it so it's unsticky out. This better goddamn work. Hope this better not have the issue as the one last time, because my issue was the O-ring wouldn't sit tight, which is exactly what's happening now. Look, you go here, then this pops out. Then you go this side and that side pops out. What the hell? I had this with my old one too, like the O-ring, right? So this fits, and over here is too small. Then when you go like that, that side don't fit. It's like you gotta stretch it. This is really annoying. The only thing is I would just stretch it, or whoop, whoop. I forgot how I managed to get it to sit the last time. It was freaking annoying. I think I just pulled it until it stretched enough to the point where it was just like, so this is what I needed it to be, but it keeps, see, it keeps creeping up. You should gotta hold it like this for a second, let it get flush with it. So to put it in, it's like this, I believe. This flat side goes in the dump vac area or something, whatever it's called. And here we are installing this bullshit again. And I say again because this is my second time installing this blow-off valve. The fucking first time I did this, right, I couldn't get this turbo inlet pipe off because I couldn't get this off. And I ended up fucking doing it without taking those off, and let me tell you, it was not a good day. Because this thing would not come off from here, no matter how much you try. But I found out from Humble Mechanic, the trick is to take off this T30 here from the start, right? Take it off and then remove the pipe first. Remove the pipe, take the whole pipe out, wiggle it out, be careful not to crack your inlet pipe. But then again, it's a good excuse to get another one. Which, wink wink, I might be doing that soon. Take off this turbo inlet pipe, and then you pull the hose from here, and then apparently there's two types. There's one that you can just clamp or pinch right here and pull it out, but my type is just a whole 3 hours later. Twist and pull, there we go. Jesus Christ. Yeah, boy's a mechanic, not really. Okay, so that's tricky part number one. Tricky part number two is these 3 screws. And out of these 3, it's just the bottom screw that's mad finicky, because you don't want to end up dropping into your engine bay, which is what I did the first time, and fucking I want to cry. The key here is just to loosen them all enough and take the top easy ones out first, and then for the last one, you keep the pressure on the screw and then you pull it out. Therefore, it won't drop into your engine bay. So this is what I mean. It's not even in focus, but when you take it out, keep it on it and take the whole thing out. All right, let's do this. So this flat side, the flat side I was telling you about, faces inward because you see that valve dump back, whatever the heck it's called. I just want to install this and get this over with. If you kindly look over here, this is the OEM one. This is the Turbosmart one. And you see this design makes it annoying. You can't really fit a lot of tools in here. So you would have to do, so what I like this, the one wouldn't fit, like it would be at an angle, which is really goddamn annoying. So what I would need to do is I would use the Allen key to screw these on, which is really annoying. And I just wish, I mean, I don't know, I wish they'd work, but you see how this aftermarket one, it's way fatter than this and it doesn't really fit as well. To go in, I would say keep the same method for the bottom one. Keep it pressured, keep it on. Oh, make sure my O-ring is good. My O-ring is good. Keep it pressured on already on the way down, so that once you get here, you won't drop it or have to finicky think. You have to diddle with it. The other tricky part is this screw right here. The reason why it's tricky is because it's blocked by this, what is it called? I'm a dumbass, I don't know. But that's what it like messes you up and you end up dropping the screw. If you drop it, they give you 3 screws, and I guess if you drop it, it's alright because you can use your OEM ones. And also, when I first installed this, right, or the first time that I did this, when I would drive, even though it wasn't working properly, when I would drive and give it throttle, right, there would be like a slight vibration in my pedal, and I was like, did I install that wrong, or is that because it's defective? And I figured that no, it couldn't be something like with the linkage or whatever, because we have electronic throttle bodies. Is that the correct word? Like, I figured that, and someone confirmed me, yeah, that our pedal is electronic. So there wasn't something mechanical. So somebody told me it might not be this that causes that vibration. It might be just because this intake is like rubbing on one of these parts, which then makes it vibrate. So if you have that problem, which some people said they have, it might not be because of your diverter valve or your valve. It might be something that's just rubbing on something else. So one of the biggest things I've noticed when I first installed it was that it flutters during low RPM, and I've read like a bunch of forums and people's comments and 2 cents on this, whether it's bad for the turbo or not, and it's basically 50-50. With these things, it's always 50-50. You can never get a definitive answer for it. And after reading everybody's forums and comments and everything else, I've come to the consensus that flutter during low RPM is okay, but you definitely don't want flutter when you're building boost or you're holding boost, and this definitely does not do that. And I was talking to somebody on Facebook that also has this blow-off valve. Well, he has not this exact 50-50 blow-off version, he has the plump back, which is the 100% recirculation, and his flutter all the time. When he revs it in park, flutters. When he's just driving normally, flutters way louder and more than mine. And he's had it for way longer than me, and he says the car is still holding up great. And I also came across this, that somebody emailed Turbosmart asking about the flutter to see if it's normal, see if it's okay for the car, and this is what they said. So I guess at the end of the day, in conclusion, after all that talking, flutter is okay during low RPM, and it's normal with this blow-off valve, the Turbosmart blow-off valve. And when you're daily driving, you can't really hear the flutter, especially if you have your music playing. You would have to have your windows down and kind of actively know you're listening for flutter to hear it. And it doesn't happen all the time either, just occasionally. But that's just my conclusion that I came to. And obviously, you know, you don't have to listen to it. You can form whatever opinion you want about the flutter, if it's good or bad for the car. Do your own research, but I don't know. For me, I guess I'm convinced that it's okay for low RPM. So this part is for the DSG owners, which is what I have. And I noticed that it does not blow off when you're shifting through gears, when you're like on throttle, giving it gas, full sending it, shifting through gears manually. It does not blow off at all, which I think is good, right? Because that means this thing is actually holding its boost and its power through all the gears, and that means it's actually kind of smart then that it's not just blowing it off. And I found that out because when I installed it, I was like sending it through the gears and I was like, why isn't it blowing off when I'm shifting gears? And isn't it supposed to, because that's how it is in the manual. And I'm like, oh wait, no, for manuals you have to let off and then pushing the clutch to shift, and when you let off, that's when it blows off. Whereas for us, you know, living in the 21st century, not being cavemen, no lift shift having, win a race with just my right hand having, I could go through all my gears before you even get to third having acid. We can just keep our foot on the throttle and shift, and if we never let off, then it just never blows off, and then it's just the power, the boost just goes all the way through. Some other things that I've noticed about it, which is also kind of my are you dumb, stupid, or dumb moment. So compared to my friend's Forge blow-off valve, right, that one just kept blowing off all the time at every red light, at the drive-through, at stop and go traffic. And I was like, why isn't this one doing that? Why isn't it blowing off every time and just annoying everybody around me? Because that's what I want. And I was like, oh wait, it can't blow off if there's no pressure or air in the turbo. It needs air to blow off. It's just not gonna blow off anything. So when I realized that, I was like, oh. And also my friends were manuals, so that means they had to let off every time to shift, whereas me, I would just foot on the throttle all the time, and I guess it was just holding that boost and power throughout. Is there a fucking mosquito? And I guess it was just holding that air and that boost throughout all the gears, not blowing off. So that's also kind of, I'm dumb on that part too. And then the last thing I've noticed is that it's not RPM based. For some reason, I thought just raise your RPMs and it'll blow off. It's actually more like throttle position based. You would have to give it gas, go on throttle, let the car build boost, actually have air, and then it'll blow off. And ever since I've realized that, it has been working perfectly actually. I just wish it kind of blew off more, because people were like selling their Forge one because it was blowing off all the time and it was too wishy, and I'm like, no, I want that. I want to annoy everybody around me. I want to just whoosh all the time. But this one, it really does only blow off when you're letting off, when you're really into boost, a high boost, let off, and then it'll whoosh. So I guess it's also, you know, good. I guess it won't get old for me. Like I won't get tired of it because it won't be blowing off all the time. You know, obviously all of these things that I've said is just my opinion on it, and no, Turbosmart didn't sponsor me for this video. They didn't give me this. I bought this full price, sadly, for $260 from FCP Euro. So all this is non-biased, but based on experiences from other people that have had this blow-off valve from Turbosmart way longer than I have, everything seems to be working fine and holding up, and hopefully the same goes for me. But then again, I mean, I have the FCP Euro lifetime warranty on it, so if anything does go wrong, I can always send it back to them. They'll give you another one, but hopefully we won't get to that. So I don't know, I still kind of want the Forge one because I wanted to just annoy everybody, but I don't know, maybe this will grow on me, and in fact maybe this is even better for the car because it's actually kind of smart. So if you have any questions, obviously leave them in the comments below and I'll try my best to answer them, or somebody else can. But also leave a comment below and let me know what you guys think about the sound of this one compared to, I don't know, if you have like a Forge or a CTS one. Let me know. I'd love to hear it. And I think that's it. Hopefully I don't get possessed out here and I can still catch you guys in the next one.